There he is, the man of the hour, Yisroel Pekar. I heard so much about you from Baruch because I know that you guys have somewhat of a history, and I can't wait for
Somewhat.
tonight's show. I'm so excited to hear this.
Yes. Well, good to see you guys.
Awesome. So I know let's jump right into the bio, and then I'm going to give my own little bio because it's fun and it's Yisroel. And then I'm going to let Yisroel give his own bio. So our guest tonight is Yisroel Pekar. He is a principal at Darchai Menachem, a school in Crown Heights, and a parenting coach. As a principal, he has transformed the academic structure to make it more accessible to the students and has focused on the relationship between school culture and students' individual success. In addition, he has been giving parenting courses that have changed his life and the lives of many parents, myself and my wife included. Yisroel lives in Crown Heights with his wife and 4 children. So I'm going to give my personal intro now because I don't think that intro does enough of a job of really saying who Yisroel is. I know Yisroel's like really edgy right now. I met Yisroel. This is also Jeremy for you because I don't know that we ever really discussed this. But Yisroel, I met you 3 years ago. When did I start going to the Best?
Around 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Let's say 3 years ago. When I started going to the Best, which is a synagogue in Crown Heights. Absolutely. Talk about exceptionally irresistible, right? The Best is exceptionally irresistible. I've never seen another synagogue like that. And that's where I met Yisroel. And then last year, the school I was working at, Darchai Menachem, is where Yisroel works. And I believe, Yisroel, you actually kind of helped me to get the job. I think you were one of the ones who kind of encouraged me because it wasn't something I was looking for. But I ended up looking for it, and it ended up being
angles.
Huh?
I worked a couple angles.
There you go. You worked a couple angles. He's very good at that. So the thing to know about Darchai is that this is a school which takes, and Yisroel, if I say anything wrong, you'll correct me or don't. It takes students and kids who would normally, nobody else can handle them. Nobody else knows what to do with them. And Darchai exceeds and excels at creating them, not creating them, but helping them become who they really are and who they're meant to be. I've never seen charity campaigns run for schools the way Darchai does because everybody is absolutely involved, from the parents to the teachers who are now principals at other schools because everybody poaches teachers from Darchai. So talking about, growth and developing individuals, Darchai is the absolute best at what they do. Wow. But a good school is only a good school if it's got good leadership. And Yisroel is one of those absolutely amazing leaders at Darchai. And the relationship he has with the students and the relationship that he has with the other teachers. I know we're not supposed to talk about a lot of good, nice things in front of somebody, but whatever. I kind of went off there. Yisroel is one of the top leaders at Darchai. And not to downplay this, he gives parenting courses, which, again, Shane and I have taken, and they're absolutely incredible. These are things that we started implementing what he was teaching, and right away, we started seeing a change in our children and the way they interacted. It's the sort of thing you have to keep remembering and keep doing. So Yisroel is super qualified to be on the show tonight for tonight's topic. Before we get to that, though, I do want to ask Yisroel, you have a very impressive background and resume and portfolio. And what's most impressive is that you really live it and that you are what you say that you are. So I want to hear from you, and I know our audience wants to hear from you a little more about what you do specifically now in all aspects, the teaching and the parenting, etc. And kind of what was your journey like to get there? Where did you start off, and how did you get to where you are now?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the second question because I feel like it's the foundation. So I born in the States, moved to Israel when I was 9 years old. Never did well in school. I honestly can't even remember ever passing a test.
Wow.
Then at the age of 19, my father gave me an ultimatum of either going to college or not being supported. So we went So even though I was not a great student, I applied myself towards preparing for college and passed the GED. And then I went to college, and that was really the first time in my life that I did. I don't want to say I did exceptionally well, but I did reasonably okay, and that is how I went through. And then that's my academic background. During this time, I was very disappointed with my own schooling because I felt that no one was really able to give me what I needed. No one was able to really figure out how to talk to me or what I especially needed. And to be honest, I myself didn't know. Even till today, I can highlight. I can't tell you exactly what I needed to succeed in school. What I can tell you is that any staff member that I remember or that I appreciate are the staff that went the extra mile, the staff that put the actual effort to build a relationship with me. So that might be the cornerstone of my philosophy. Anyways, while I was in college, I went to work for a Chabad rabbi in New Zealand, and I built a relationship over the half a year that I was there. I made a couple friends, and they encouraged me to give them some classes, being the assistant rabbi. And towards the end, maybe a week or a few days before I left, there was a woman. Her name is Sara Glass, and she gave me a pen. And on the pen was written, "To a great educator, to a great teacher."
Wow.
I think then is exactly when I decided I'm changing careers.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I went into college, I actually started as in a marketing major, and I think when I came back, I transitioned to special ed.
Wow.
Till today, people ask me why I went into education, and especially because there's so many bad teachers and there's so many problems in the educational system. And I like to respond by saying that's exactly why I went into education. Because there's so many problems, there's so many challenges, because I myself was not satisfied with my own education. And I just want to be clear. I'm not blaming my schools. I'm not blaming the teachers. It's just the infrastructure wasn't there. Maybe the training wasn't there. Various reasons, but ultimately, and again, I myself wasn't available. I needed that special attention. I needed to go to a school maybe like Darchai Menachem to get that individual that special attention. But I didn't, and so that is why I decided to go into education. So I started working in Darchai Menachem, and during my first year, I was working under Rabbi Shmuel Gazinski in the 6th grade. It was actually interesting. Two weeks before the school year began, the principal, Daniel Jacoby, who phenomenal guy, and now he's also a principal in Florida, called me to his office and told me, he said, "Yisroel, I need an English teacher. I need an English teacher. I want you to be the teacher." I was terrified, but because of the way he did it, and because of my very limited but positive experience with him, I actually accepted the job. I stood up to the challenge that was thrown onto me through 2 weeks before the year began. And it's funny. This is the first time I'm actually saying this out loud. I never actually thought about this beforehand, but because of him, because of his positive relationship with me, because of his effort and his support, I took on the job. Anyways, so I was in the mornings I was an assistant teacher, and in the afternoons I was the English and math teacher. Shmuley Gazinski was a mentee of a man named Shimon Warnaker, who at the time opened a new public school, PS 770, the New American Academy. And Shmuel brought me, wanted to train his assistant teachers to see what quality education is. So he brought us there. It was such a phenomenal experience. Shimon has such innovative and modern ideas that really are that really foster a warm environment and a rigorous program for the students and for the staff. But really what blew me away, what the cherry on the top was when I visited him on Friday. It was a Friday, I think, or maybe the second visit was a Friday. At 11 o'clock, he had an hour or two slot that he gave parenting courses.
Wow.
And specifically towards the parents of his students. And to go into that classroom and to watch these parents who one would not assume that they would be automatically good parents or capable of really dealing with these stressful and tough situations. Hearing their stories, hearing that the warm environment and the way they communicated and the way they discussed their experiences from the previous week, I was hooked. And I actually returned on my own a couple of times just to come to the parenting course, to watch and observe how he built his relationship with these parents and to hear their stories and it was very, very inspirational. Eventually I asked him if he could start a parenting course in our community, in the Crown Heights community, which after several conversations, he agreed, as long as I make sure that I take care of as long as I manage it. And I did. It took a tremendous amount of work, but we started the parenting course in Crown Heights. Now, at the same time, everything that I was learning from the parenting course was really helping me in the classroom. It was really changing the way I responded to the students, the way I interacted with people around me, with my students, with my coworkers, with my spouse, with my wife, with my children. It was transformative for me, just observing and watching Shimon give these parenting courses. After a couple of years, Shimon was promoted to a different position, and he was too busy. So he asked me to take over the class, and that is how I started the parenting course in Crown Heights. At the same time, I also became the principal, and I've been now principal for the past 5 years. And it's been a phenomenal journey, which I'm very excited to continue and to continue watching the growth that we're having in our school. And what's really phenomenal is every year we're not starting fresh. We're building on the previous year. So every year we experience new heights, and we have we implement new curricula or new methodologies, and it really makes a big difference. And yeah, that is my biography and the foundation for my educational mindset.